Hello, this is Damogron. I'm about to show you my PvP healing Sorc. First primer, I don't claim to be a 100% expert. This is me just playing a lot of ESO, finding what skills work for me. This certainly isn't going to be the most optimized build, but I have fun with it. I hope you have fun with it. Let's get into the build. So we'll start first with the abilities that I'm using, or the skills. So I'm running a Sorcerer Healer. So I have Hardened Ward. That's going to give me some defense. When those people are beating on you, you want to keep those shields up, especially as we don't have a whole lot of health. Healing Ward, similar purpose to Hardened Ward, except that that's also going to throw shields on our allies. We have Blessing of Restoration, so that's going to be a nice area of effect heal. We have Healing Springs, very easy. That'll be our primary heal for our group. Rapid Regeneration is going to be our easy spam to give people some heals over time. And one of the most important abilities, Replenishing Barrier, that's going to give everyone a very nice shield, especially when you're going to go in and take a keep. On my back bar, we have a lot of utility. So we're running Siege Weapon Shield to protect our siege for when we're taking keeps. We have Cleanse, which is going to be very nice to get rid of any negative effects on our allies as well as ourselves. Charging Maneuver, that's going to be very nice for keeping our rapids up so we can get across Cyrodiil, as well as when we're in a fight, being able to keep everyone moving at a fast pace to get out of those snares and keep moving circles around those enemies. Then we have Streak, which is going to be very useful to catch up to any allies who need healing and or get away if we're being attacked by or focused fired by any enemy fire. Power Surge, that's going to give us a nice buff to our spell power so that we can hit them bigger heals. And last but not least, we have Suppression Field, which is generally going to be a nice offensive ability if we need to push the enemy. Next, I'm going to review the gear. So the gear that I have isn't necessarily the best gear in the game, nor the most optimized, but it's the gear that I've been running. So I'm technically running a 6-piece Kagranax. If I go ahead and switch up my skills or my weapon bar, definitely not the most optimized, but it gets the job done. So we're running Kagranax, which is going to give us some nice regen, some max magicka, max health, and it's going to be very nice for PvP with that 25% reduction in res time. We're also running a 5-piece Trinamax, which is again going to give us that more recovery, as well as a nice 5-piece bonus, but I find that it's not that strong for running a 5-piece, so I may definitely switch that out to only 4. It's mainly weak because it's not that strong. It only triggers 20% of the time, and we only have 2 abilities that are going to trigger that. That's our Healing Ward, but that's not always guaranteed to land on someone. It may land on ourselves, which it means it does nothing. And then we have Barrier, which will also trigger that. So it's a relatively weak 5-piece bonus, but for now, I run it until I get something a little better. That's what's nice about getting that 5-piece, or allows us to run the 2, is the jewelry, our proof and rings, which are very nice. Both of these are magic recovery, arcane. And then lastly, our weapons, we're running a restoration staff of Kagranax Hope. It's Nirnhoned. I'm not we're really heavily focused on supporting our team, so I'm not sure if Nirnhoned is the best. The absorb magicka enchantment is nice, because if we do get low, we can weave some tax between our heals to gain some of that magic back. And then our second hand weapon is going to be the Inferno Staff of Julianos. Again, that just happens to be there because I also run a DPS build. So it's not probably the most optimized, but it's what I have for now. Certainly room for improvement or optimization on the gear. The next piece I want to talk about are the champion points. So currently I have 80 points into Arcanist. That's again gonna feed us more into recovery because for this build I like to continue to spam the heals around to as many people as possible, especially since we're in a raid. A little bit of everyone's going to be hitting damage, so the more we're able to spread the heals, the better. I only have 80 points into there for now. I don't have a whole lot of champion points, but about 80 feels good for now. We really start getting some diminishing returns going past 80. So I've also begun to put points into Magician, which reduces our Magicka cost spells. So again, if we're going to be spamming our heals all around, the more you spam, the more useful the Magician becomes. We're running Barrier as well as a Healing Ward and a Hardened Ward, so that's where Bastion becomes very helpful. Increases the effectiveness of damage absorbing effects. Those three are very, very key in terms of giving an immediate shield to the Healing Ward, to an ally who needs it. The Hardened Ward, that's going to be a primary health pool for us to stay alive, and then our Barrier, which is going to get the most value out of that because that's going to go on several allies. So although there's diminishing returns when we're going past 80, I feel we're getting the most value continuing to put all our points into Bastion. So actually, let me back up real quick. So I put 80 into Arcanist, 3 into Magician. So we're also going to keep putting this up until we get about 40, 50. What is it? 40? How many you get? 167. So we definitely want to max out Arcanist and then put all of our remaining points into Magician. We're going to put 100 points in Bastion before we move on to our next one, which there's some room to play around in terms of what you feel works best for you. For me, I'm running all light armor, so after I max out Bastion, I'm going to put the remaining points into light armor focused, just because as being a sorcerer healer, wearing all light armor with the spell resilience that we have, the physical resistance is going to be the weakest. So I feel like in terms of survivability for our own, that's going to be where we see the most value. Then we're going to put a majority of our points into Blessed. Again, I do have 80 points into Blessed, which is going to increase the effectiveness of our healing, which as a healer, that's going to be very important. But again, we started getting those diminishing returns, so I started putting points into Elfborn, which is going to increase the amount of healing we see when we get a crit. So we'll put points into there. I think we'll definitely want to max out Blessed, but we want to put as many as in Elfborn before we finish off our Blessed. So that's the build. If I go back and we look at any passives, obviously we're a sorcerer, so we got all the passives for our class accordingly. For our weapon, we're using the Arresto Staff, obviously. So we got all of the passives in there. I mentioned earlier we're running a 5-piece or all light armor, or at least 5 pieces, so that we get all of the benefits from the light armor. For the Alliance War, as we move on, we'll continue to put points into passives as we get, though. As you all know, that takes quite a while. It'll be really nice when we get some Battle Resurrection paired with the Kaganax for some really fast reses, which though Battle's reses really help turn the tide around. So that's the build. Certainly room for improvement. When we go to, say, the gear, We have a 6-piece CAG going on, so I think our spell power is a little weak. Plenty of regen, so getting maybe a Molakina helm or shoulder will be a nice boost. If we look at our stats, this is all for the most part unbuffed beyond what we have for being in Cyrodiil right now. So we have some real nice magicka recovery, but our spell damage is a bit weak. So I may think about updating maybe 1 or 2 of our jewelry to be instead magicka recovery, maybe spell power. Having that Molakina head or shoulder is definitely going to add some additional spell power, but definitely not final. This is version 1. I know a lot of people that have visited the stream have asked, what build I'm running. That's the build. Last but not least, the boon, increased critical strike chance. Magicka may be better. I think that's the mage, the Atronarch. I can't remember. I'm currently running the thief just so we can get some bigger crits. But the mage or Atronarch, whichever one gives you more magicka, may be better. As I mentioned, running that barrier, hardened ward, and healing ward are some of our primary shields that we're giving out. So the bigger that magicka pool is, the bigger our shields are going to be, which adds up when you're running 12 plus people in a raid. So if you have any critiques, any questions, any thoughts on the build, go ahead, leave them in the comments below. Let me know. This is certainly not finalized. I'm running Argonian. Argonia is certainly not the best race to run for a healing Sorc, but I like to have fun. I'm not too worried about min-max. We'd like to get the best out of our character, but we also like to look cool and have fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the stream.
There's quite a few here we could use help.
Rockstead, 15k Dawnbreaker.
Working as intended.
Perez.
Ulted.
The packed in zone chat.
Tab it.
Alright, Jim's back.
A lot of DC here.
Oh, I guess Ace of Base was back because I killed him twice.
Oh.
Maybe they saw us coming from a mile away, especially since we took the lumber mill.